I'd made a commitment to my family not to get arrested and hopefully not to end up in an Egyptian jail. This was my first time. And, I was expecting, the itinerary called for us to travel to Gaza. That was the itinerary. The itinerary was not to spend 9 days, having demonstrations and protests around Cairo. So for me, I felt like I was totally unprepared for the one-on-one confrontation with Egyptian police, which is actually what it was. And I had a friend, I'd made a connection with a friend in Egypt who works in the district attorney's office, and she kept telling me, she would call me and say, Isabella, they're not going to arrest you. They're not going to arrest any of you. They're just watching you. They're just trying to control you, but they're not going to arrest you. But I wasn't sure.
Didn't feel that way.
It didn't feel that way. No. It was scary. It was really scary.
Now I understand that the permits to allow this march were revoked.
Yes.
So is that truly what happened, that you were only able to do protests in different locations in Cairo, or how did that work into your plans? Once you found out you couldn't gather.
Well, like I said, the biggest thing that when we would receive Gaza Freedom March email updates, like prior to the trip, they kept telling us, be flexible, be prepared to be flexible. Well, all of this took flexible to a whole new level. It did. Because, first of all, we had only made hotel reservations for the first 2 nights because the rest of the time we were supposed to be in Gaza. So we're having to scramble to find a hotel that can accommodate us for the length of time. And we had talked about, among ourselves as a team, the 6 of us from Michigan Peace Team had talked about the possibility of trying to get to Rafah ourselves, independently, of leaving, the auspices of Gaza Freedom March and going to Gaza on our own. And actually, on one particular day, 2 of our members did try that. At this point, security on us, on all of us, was really heavy. And so we thought that we would be less obvious if we went in 2 separate groups, Mm-hmm. So Liz and Dorothy left early in the morning, like before 7, to get to the bus station to buy tickets. They were going to buy 5 tickets for the 5 of us women to go. And they had just walked out the door when I get this text message on my phone that says, leave your hotel immediately. The police are locking down all the hotels. Everyone is being, shut up in their hotels and can't leave. Leave now. And so I'm reading the message on my phone, and I'm looking at the other 2 women, and I'm like, so we run to the window of our hotel, which is on the 8th floor, and we look down on the street, and it's too late. Here come the police squadrons pulling up with their vans, with their fences that they put out, and they put 3 uniformed officers right by the front door, and then the suits, as we called them, the guys in suits, who are undercover police officers, are positioned on every corner. And so we know we're stuck. There is no way. There's one entrance to that hotel. God forbid there should ever be a fire, right? We're stuck. The 3 of us are stuck. And so Dorothy and Liz had made it out just under the wire, So we try to phone them to tell them what's happened, and the cell phone signals were scrambled. So we couldn't call out. We couldn't receive phone calls for 3 hours. We sat here, basically under impromptu house arrest is what it felt like, and had no idea what was happening to our 2 teammates that were at the bus station. We didn't know if they had made it to the bus station. We had no idea, and they didn't know about us either. And so after about 3 hours, the police leave, the phones start working again. So then we hear from the 2 women at the bus station that they have our tickets. They're being harassed by police. And so we made a decision at that point that we figured they wouldn't make it, that none of us would make it. Because the truth is that several different factions of marchers had tried to get to Rafah themselves, and had been caught all along the way. There was a contingent of Spanish people who were stuck in Al Arish in their hotels, and some English people, and it's like they were just on us the whole time. And so they were not going to let us in. So